Bridge to let. The good and the bad. Here are my opinions from actually going through the process, and you're going to want to watch to the end because I've got a few bonus points to tell you. So I went through the bridge to let process, and now let me tell you, it was an eye-opener. So what I'm going to do in this video is just go through 3 things that were good and 3 things that were bad about the process. And also I'll share with you some bonus points as well. So my first good point is it allowed me to buy a property I probably wouldn't be able to get a standard buy-to-let on because of the state of the property. So that gives you the opportunity, or gave me the opportunity, to add value to this project and sort of get a bit of an uplift and get some money back that way. And I'm just starting out in my property journey, so I don't necessarily have a pot of cash built up that I can just buy a property outright. So this in my head enabled me to almost still do a buy-to-let, but I could do that on a property that I probably wouldn't get a standard buy-to-let product from, because the lender wouldn't lend the money on the property because, you know, it wasn't in a lettable standard from the get-go. So yeah, that gave me a massive opportunity to uplift. So I'm going to use this strategy moving forward so that I can look and buy properties that I probably couldn't get a buy-to-let on because of the state of the properties, but then I can also still purchase that and then add value. So my next good point in going through a bridge to let is that it gives you certainty of having the project end date. Just so you know in your head as well, that project program end date can't keep going on and on and on and on, and you can't physically run past that date, otherwise you'll get into problems after. So as I said, some people might see that as a disadvantage, but to me, I see that as an opportunity, because then I know my project is going to finish approximately by such and such a date, otherwise X might happen. So it just gives you a little bit of certainty in that regard. My next good point is gives you certainty in terms of your exit strategy. So if you do get a bridge to let product where you've got your exit strategy already approved when you've gone for the initial bridge loan as well, which is what I did, then you know for certain that you've got an exit strategy in place from the get-go. You're not worrying about this or trying to find this later or trying to find a buy-to-let product afterwards. You know that as soon as you have gone through the process and you've got the project done, you've got a get out of jail free card with the project, so to speak, so that goes straight back onto a standard buy-to-let product. So just to recap on the bridge to let, basically a bridge to let in my head, and I see it as a 2-stage mortgage. So you initially get a bridge loan to fund the project in the beginning up front, and then you can also, how I did it, I was also approved for a buy-to-let as well, which would be the second stage. So as soon as you've done your project, you've got everything finished and completed to a certain standard in your project, you've added value in your project, has gone through that refurb, you call the valuation, the valuer up, who your lender's using, or you inform your lender, and they will send the valuer out, they'll revalue that, and that then kickstarts the second stage, and that is your buy-to-let. So then your buy-to-let product starts. So the bridge to let gets paid off by the buy-to-let product, and you literally move seamlessly in an ideal world onto your buy-to-let product. So there's a lot of benefits in that. As I said before, you can, and I've said in other videos, you can buy projects and you can buy properties that probably wouldn't be able to buy on a standard buy-to-let, or unless you were a cash buyer. You're also in that market and also got the buying power of a cash buyer almost. And you can get these products with these properties where you can add value, and then you can also, you've got the flexibility of then going back onto the buy-to-let. So you've got that certainty there. So to me, that's a great advantage to using this funding type. It's worked out okay for me on this project, and we're using that to fund our next project as well. So a quick bonus advantage as well is that it really helped me hone in my project management skills and apply that to a practical scenario and not just a work scenario, because as I said, those dates are the dates that you've given for the project to be complete and for the valuer to come out, and then for you to hopefully switch back onto the buy-to-let product is set. So you've got to work to that program. So it can be a bit rigid and it does tie you in, but it makes you think outside the box in order to get that project finished, because you know you've got an end date in mind. And as I said in my other video, whilst we were approved and going through completion for the initial bridge to let, that's when Liz Truss came into power, and that's when all the financials went all over. So there was an added time pressure that we probably won't have in the next one, but we had it in this one so that we wanted to complete and get onto that second stage so that before the offer expired, otherwise we'd be looking at buy-to-let products that have a much higher rate. So yeah, as I said, it just really, this project in particular just helped me hone in my project management skills and helped me build really, really good relationships, which we had good relationships already with our tradespeople, but even stronger now because they were so flexible. So yeah, it really does, that's another great advantage to using this funding method, is that it helps you to hone in those project management skills. So, on to the bad things then. Oh, gosh, do we have to? But yeah, the bad things, the first bad sort of thing or bad point to using a bridge to let is that it is expensive, and it is expensive for what other people have said on the internet. They've said about the rates, but also as well, in addition, what I would add is it's really expensive in terms of fees and professional fees, in particular solicitors' fees, because you've actually got to get solicitors for each stage. So in my head, it just does cost a lot more money for that, to get those solicitors, because you're basically paying, and I've got to get my head around this, it's not that, it's not, to me, I feel like I'm paying for 2 sets of fees for one thing, but it isn't. You're paying 2 sets of fees for each stage, and you're also paying for the experience in the field as well. So you've got to think of that, put that into there as well. So yeah, I mean, the things that we had to pay for as well, we had to pay for director's loan agreement to be drafted by the solicitor. That was in addition to their fees. We had to pay for independent legal advice as well on that as a separate thing. And also another thing that I didn't expect to pay as well was a lot higher. The cost for the valuations are a lot higher than just a normal standard residential property when you're buying a commercial property. But as I said, that's all tied into when you're buying commercial properties. But yeah, the costs for fees are a lot higher than what I anticipated from the Woollerton flat. But as I said, that's because it's initially 2 stages. So realistically, you're going to get paid for 2 sets of solicitors' fees. Whether it's fair or not, I don't know, I'll leave that to you. Pop that in the comments. I don't think it's fair, but yeah, pop that in the comments and let's know your thoughts on that. And this ties into the actual, because in construction they always say you've got a golden triangle, so to speak. So it's cost, quality and time. So you've got to see which one of those is prioritised for each project. So in my case, I'd say, and this is my next bad point with the bridge to let, is time constraints. So what happened with us with the Woollerton flat is that, as I've said before in other videos, is that the completion date for the initial bridge loan slipped, and that ate into our project time. So then that put more pressure on us to get the project completed by that certain date. And as I've said before, we also had the added pressure of trying to complete so the offer didn't expire, because obviously we would have had to pay for the higher rates. So yeah, if you've just got to be careful to just keep on track, think outside the box, but do not cut corners. Make sure, again, you've got the right team around you, with tradesmen that you've worked with for a while, or builders, you've got a good relationship with your builder, and good tradesmen and good builders are worth their weight in gold, because they, as I said in my other videos, they'll be so flexible and they'll fit around you as long as you obviously treat them right, treat them with tender loving care and just look after them as well. So yeah, as I said, time can be a massive constraint on a bridge to let, and you've got to really think outside the box if that initial completion date for the bridge loan side encroaches and slips and gets further and further put back, because then, as I said, it squashes your time for your actual project. I think my next bad point to actually going for the bridge to let is that if you don't have your exit plan sorted from the beginning, if you don't have your buy to let proportion approved by the same lender, if you've not got that package together, and you've just got a standard bridge loan, then it can be a little bit stressful, because you've not got that certainty of knowing that you've got that exit strategy from the get-go. So that'll be my next bad thing if you are just going for a simple bridge just by itself. But then also that's an opportunity as well for you and your mortgage advisor or your mortgage broker to look for more competitive rates, because the rates might be, you know, I mean, we've had all that stuff with Liz Truss, so we know that interest rates can be one thing one day and then another day. So I suppose if you don't have that exit strategy from day one, you've got the opportunity of looking for more competitive rates if rates have dropped by a certain amount, or they've come back down, or they're, you know, a bit more competitive. But you can get your mortgage advisor to test the market and get you more products that have got a better rate, that are more up to date. So yeah, probably an opportunity for some people out there. So, and I'd probably see it as an opportunity as well to get to sort of for your mortgage advisor to test the current market. So yeah, but that would be my next point. And as I said, my bonus point, again, it's painful. It's costly. It is costly, but obviously, as long as you've worked out your figures and you know you're gonna benefit you in the long run and it's in line with your property strategy, your property journey, then by all means go for it. But as I said, it can be costly. That was my thing before. It's like paying for solicitors twice, but it's not, Sabrina, it's not that way. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for doing your own research. So as well as watching this video, just do a bit more research into this. I'm sure there's loads of gurus that have done videos on YouTube, but as I said, that's coming from my personal experience of actually going through, so this is in my personal opinion. Please like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and also watch this video next to see the type of things that I'm looking for in investment properties and how I'm looking to invest this year.